And today we're talking about how to work past vocal injury and protecting your voice. And I want to share some important insights with you because, number one, nobody wants to have a vocal injury. And when I'm talking about vocal injury, what I'm really talking about is nodes, vocal hemorrhage, vocal paralysis, things like that. And they're more common than you might think. Some of you may have had a vocal injury, may have had nodes or vocal hemorrhage, God forbid, but it does happen. So when you get a vocal injury, the first thing I want you to understand is that that is your body telling you that the way you are using your voice is not working for you in a healthy way. Your technique is either lacking, wrong, there is a gap in what you understand and what your body is actually doing. And any one of these things can create way too much tension and pressure on the vocal folds. And vocal injury, the number one cause of vocal injury is tension, strain, pressure on the vocal folds that creates node, a nodule, which is like a little callus on the vocal fold, can create a vocal hemorrhage, which is a little burst blood vessel and hemorrhaging, bleeding inside the vocal fold, paralysis of the entire fold or partial paralysis of the vocal fold, which is exactly what it sounds like. The fold cannot move and vibrate. So these are injuries that can be prevented with healthy, efficient vocal technique. Now, there's no blame and shame. If you've had a vocal injury, please don't go to that place of like shame. I wasn't doing it right. I didn't know enough. Like, it is what it is. But it's an opportunity for you, if you have had a vocal injury, to address the issues in how your body is creating that sound that caused the injury in the first place. Because, a really great ENT, otolaryngologist, vocal specialist, they will help you to heal the physical injury, right? If you're on nodes, you will likely have to go on vocal rest for a period of time, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 2 months, whatever it is, to heal the node so that it goes away. If you have vocal paralysis, if you have vocal hemorrhage, there are ways medically that a great head and neck ENT surgeon will be able to help you heal the physical injury. But the problem is that with a lot of singers, they heal the immediate injury medically, but then they go right back to singing the same way that they always have. And either they re-injure themselves again. Adele, case in point, we all love Adele. She has an amazing voice, but she doesn't use it in a healthy way, which is why she's had 2 vocal hemorrhages over the years. And, she heals medically, and I'm sure she has some of the best people in the world around her trying to help her with a healthier mechanism. But if she goes right back out on tour, the next time she tours a year later and she's using her voice with the same pressure, the same heft, the same over control, she re-injures herself yet again. And that's exactly what happened a few years later when she got the second one. And it's unnecessary. It doesn't need to happen. And it's not entirely her fault. Nobody is helping her to understand the mindset behind healing from a vocal injury. And healing that is not just technique, right? I mean, especially when you're somebody like Adele and you have had an entire career based on using your voice a certain way and a certain sound that you believe people expect out of you. And the only way you know how to get that sound is with a mechanism that is not healthy for you. And yet, arenas of people expect that. Millions of people. There are thousands of people who are relying on her for their livelihood. The roadies, the musicians, the light people, the arena people, all the people who sell the drinks at the stands in her arenas. Like, when she cancels a tour, she's not the only one who suffers, and the fans are not the only ones who suffer, right? So there's a lot of pressure on somebody like that to deliver. And in that pressure, the idea of going beyond the comfort zone to sing a different way is really, really hard. It's really hard because she may have vocal experts explaining to her a healthier way of producing a sound. But if she doesn't trust that, if she doesn't feel like that's going to sell out an arena, if she doesn't listen back to it and feel like she recognizes herself and that the fans will accept that, she won't do it. And my guess is she doesn't do it, which is why then she continues to sing the same way and re-injure. So there's two parts to healing a vocal injury, which is number one, the medical part, right? Actually, there's three parts. There's the medical part, then there's the technical part, which is understanding the way in which you were producing the sound that caused the vocal injury in the first place. Most of the time it's breath support. Without proper breath support, there's way too much tension in other parts of the body compensating for the lack of lower support in the form of trying to support, control, manage the sound from up here, tongue, jaw, neck, that puts way too much pressure on the vocal folds that contributes to a vocal injury. When the breath support is better, you can be free up here, make a beautiful, powerful sound without all of that strain, push, tension, over control that contributes to a vocal injury. So number one, it's understanding just from a technique, standpoint, what are you actually doing? What are the habits that you are in? And having an expert help you to understand what you are doing, the feeling of the habit versus the feeling of the efficient technique, and understanding the coordination to create that. And then the third part is the mindset. It can be really scary to come back from a vocal injury because you don't trust your voice, you don't trust your body, you don't trust your technique. It went out from under you last time. You lost your voice. You got nodes. You got a paralysis. You got a hemorrhage, right? And so what can also happen in that, if we don't address the mindset piece of this in healing and coming back from a vocal injury, is that then a singer will hold back on going all in on the new technique. But when a singer holds back on that, that actually in and of itself creates tension. And now you're back in the tension loop because the body doesn't trust, mind doesn't trust. And so when there's no trust, body holds, and that holding, that over control, that tension is what causes too much pressure on the vocal folds that creates many vocal injuries, most vocal injuries. So coming back to working the mindset to create trust in the body, trust in the instrument, trust in the talent is a huge part of all this, because you can be given a much healthier, more efficient technique to use after coming back from a vocal injury. But if you don't trust it, then it won't be implemented, and you're going to land yourself right back in that cycle of nodes or hemorrhage or whatever the injury may be. So when thinking about working past vocal injury and learning how to protect your voice, number one, if you don't address your technique when you come back from a vocal injury, I can assure you, you will just go back to singing the way you did before, and it will be very hard for you not to re-enter that voice again. The second way that you protect your voice is making sure that when you do come back from a vocal injury, that you are also working not just the new technique that will support you better so that you're not putting all that pressure on your vocal folds, but also that you're working to understand the mindset that could sabotage you away from the new technique that will serve you better. And you guys know, if you follow my content, if you follow my method, that mindset is just as important as your skill set. And where most singers have a hard time coming back from vocal injury is because they're attempting to address the skill set without addressing the mindset that's required to do something different and new. I mean, think about it. If you're Adele and you've been singing the same way with the same amount of pressure, and you won a Grammy with that pressure, you won many Grammys, and you've sold out millions of arenas, and that is the sound that got you there. And somebody tells you, you can't sing that way anymore. I gave you an injury. That's scary. It is scary to conceive of a slightly different sound that she may conceive of as unacceptable, less than, that the fans won't like, that her label won't like, that she won't like. And so all of that would prevent her, that mindset, that fear will prevent her from exploring and leaning into techniques that feel different and might sound a little different, but which could extend the longevity of her career so she doesn't have to cancel tours, so she doesn't have to lose out on money. It's almost like, play the long game, not the short game, right? I mean, and it got her a second vocal injury. And I understand why, because it can be really scary to conceive of a whole new way of making sound and a whole new sound that might come from it that you might not be used to. And that takes ninja mindset tools to be able to stand behind that and know that her talent is not attached to that. Her success is not attached to that, that she could make a way more powerful sound that would last her 20, 30, 40 years of touring instead of continuing to re-injure herself and have to lose money and cut her career short, were she to continue standing in the fear and doing what she's always done, rather than learning how to go into the unknown with something that could be far more powerful. But that's a mindset tool. So part of protecting your voice is understanding the part that your beliefs play around how you sounded before, how you think you need to sound, how you think you should sound, what your success is tied to. And if continuing to sing like that is bringing you vocal injury, then in order to change, we can't just change the singing, we have to change the thinking at the same time, so that both are equally powerful, working for you so that you don't re-injure yourself again. Because you could have the best technique in the world. You could come back from vocal injury and have amazing speech therapists, and you could have amazing vocal technique experts. But if aligning with a different sound and a new sound is scaring you for any number of reasons, you won't do it. And then you risk re-injury again. So that's why this is so important. So if you're somebody who has been struggling with coming back from a vocal injury, if you've had vocal injury and you've had medical attention, but you're scared to sing from it, or you've had medical attention, but you're trying to sing again and it's not coming back the same way that it would, it's because one or a number of these pieces are not being addressed for you. And I really encourage you to reach out to me, because I've worked with many singers who are coming back from vocal injury. I know how to fix this, and it just requires a very specific process and progress that works when you work it, because we're working 360 from all angles. So if you're coming back from a vocal injury and you want some help, please get on my calendar for a discovery call. We will talk about what happened. We will talk about the training you've had before. We will talk about the gap between where you are and where you want to go. And I will share with you the strategy and structure of how we help singers to not just get back from vocal injury, but like go so far beyond what you thought you were capable of even before the injury. My goal is not to get you back to the way you sounded before the injury, because that sound was unsustainable. It caused the injury. I want to get you to an entirely different place of freedom, ease, power that you can trust, that is healthy and there for you for the long haul. That's the foundation that I want to help singers build when they come back from vocal injury. So I'm going to put a link in the chat. This is a link to book a call with me so that we can talk and see if working together is a fit to help you come back from this vocal injury and sound and feel so much better than you ever did before, so that you can nail those elite opportunities that you really want. So if you're watching on Facebook, I'm putting the link in the comments right here for you. There you go. Whoop. Sorry, Facebook is not wanting to cooperate. There we go. There's the link to book a discovery call with me. And if you're watching on YouTube, the link is in the video description copy just below the video. Just click there and you'll see that link. So just know, you guys, that vocal injury is not the end of the world, but if you don't treat it right in the way that you come back to make sure that you're not singing the way you were and thinking the way you were before the injury, it will cut your career short. I've seen it and I don't want that to happen to you. So please do reach out, get on my calendar, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye, everybody.